We can't buy real estate without having, we can't get financing without having credit. In some scenarios, you can't get employment without having good credit. So credit is critical, and this is the first time I will say that we're bringing what I consider one of the best experts in the credit field into our environment. She is amazing, and I've learned so much just from our tenure together, and I thought, you know what, I've got to share this. I've got to share it with not only our agent body, but I've got to share it with our clients, because everybody needs to have an understanding of what this whole credit world is about, because there's so many different perspectives, okay? Tons of different perspectives, and the truth is there's a lot of myths. So today we're talking about the 5 biggest myths regarding your credit score. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Darbe. Darbe.
Hi, my name is Darbe Nokes, obviously. You've heard me over and over again while you've been sitting here eating lunch. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Thank you so much. Congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the back for being here today. Ready? Do it. Come on. All right. Basically, you'll hear a little bit of an accent because I am from Texas. I was born and raised in Texas, came out here about 20 years ago to California, live in Malibu, have 4 kids under the age of 17, boys. Oh boy. And a child with autism. And that is my big why, and why I'm standing in front of you today about what I do, helping people to grow my own autistic foundation. But how I got involved with Financial Education Services United Credit happened about 4 years ago when I had taken a credit card. Does anybody know my husband? Okay, no, nobody's in here that knows him. And the ones that do know him, don't tell him. Anyway, I took a credit card. He didn't know about it. I put my name on it. And I ran it up to a really high limit, like $25,000. Not overnight, by the way. Don't judge me. And I was 30 days late. You know, I'm grateful, guys. It wasn't because I didn't have the money to pay the bill. It was because what did I just say? I have 4 kids, and it literally did drop in the side of my van. And so did my Ford credit bill. So we were buying and selling commercial property, and one of the #1 things on the list, besides I need to see your tax returns, we're going to pull your credit. Well, I knew I was late because I got in the call. You know, hi, this is Ford Credit. We're just calling John Nokes. Oh. Hi, this is Bank of America. We're calling John Nokes. You're late on your credit card. Do you want to make a payment? So Joe Locke, my very good friend, was in this business, and he gave me a call, and he goes, Darbe, do you know anybody with less than perfect credit? And I said, this is just the most amazing timing. I'm going to put myself and my husband, without him knowing it once again, in the credit restoration. And I was a client. And within the first 45 days, first of all, y'all, I had not seen my credit in many years because I was out of the workforce and being a mama, which you shouldn't do, by the way. You should always check your credit, at least on an every 6-month basis, and I'll tell you how to do that in a minute for free without hurting your credit. But anyway, so I basically signed up for the service. I had 8 derogatories on my credit. 4 were not me. Wow. I've never owned a Dodge truck. I'm a Ford girl. All right? I've never had an Old Navy car. I didn't have all these other things on my credit report. So obviously the Bank of America and the Ford Credit were there. And the first 45 days, and the Bank of America and the Ford Credit were on his report also. That's it. And the first 45 days, all but 1 derogatory came off my credit. Now, the Ford Credit was true, right? And I'm going to go through that in a minute, because I think a lot of people, it's all about education. You know, I think everybody in this room is a little older than 17 years old. And I could tell you that we didn't have Credit Restoration 101 when I was in school. I don't know about y'all. But nobody taught us how not only to make our credit score great, but how to keep it there. You know, how to keep it there. It's education. And I'm going to share that with you today. I'm going to go over some credit tips. Where's my little clicker? Thank you, Tony. I'm going to go over some credit tip myths, and then I'm going to go over some credit tips. So hopefully y'all have something to write with. And if you don't, I have a website that will have this PowerPoint on there when we're done. So credit restoration, a couple of myths. You need to carry a credit card balance to have a higher credit score. You need to carry a credit card balance to have a high credit score. Understand that 35% of your credit score, your scoring model, is the activity. It doesn't say $25 or $5,000 worth of activity. It's just activity. 30% is your debt ratio on that card. So let me give you an example. You have a $1,000 limit on a credit card, okay? And you use that credit card. You need to have activity in your scoring model. You run it up to $1,000 in limit. What you need to do each month is you need the scoring model. You need to pay off that card or at a 30%, at least 30% of those cards. 30%, so that'd be $300. So you need to use it, activity, activity, activity. I'm not telling you to go in debt. I'm telling you to pay your bills, okay? Pay your bills, buy your groceries, buy your gas. Not on your debit card. Does anybody think that the debit card is reporting? It is not, okay? Your debit card does not report. It is cash. It's like you going to get a savings account. Also, paying collection accounts will increase my credit score. No. Now, I understand when you're lending and you're a realtor in here that there are certain things on people's credit reports the lender are looking at that have to be taken care of. All right? I do know that. But I do also know this. When you have a collection, whether it's a $5 collection or a $5 million collection, it is in the scoring model as the same collection. And if you go and you have paid as agreed, like you negotiated that debt, what is going to happen is there's going to be another line item, which is a negative line item, and it's going to say paid as agreed. Your score will drop. Your score will drop because of that. So what the education that we say, and by the way, my company has been around for 10 years, in the credit restoration business for 25. We're an education center, and I'll show you how we restore also. But what they say is, if you have collections, you know, another thing about a collection is the age of it. Obviously, the older the age of the collection, the less effect it has on your report. Also, there's also statute of limitations in every state that we live in. 4 years in the state of California. So a lot of people go, well, it's still on there. Like it's a collection and it's past 4 years. Well, guess what? You can get it removed because they can't verify that item. It's not within the statute. See, the credit bureaus are $4 billion companies that are paid to report, but they report 80% of the time incorrectly. I don't know if any of y'all saw Steve Croft on 60 Minutes a couple of months back. He did an investigation that said 8 out of 10 credit reports have errors on them. And 4 out of 5 people that find a reputable credit company to help them restore their score got great results. 8 out of 10. See, that's why the Fair Credit Reporting Act was put into the world. The Fair Credit Reporting Act. If I can think of the word I'm trying to say here. Because it's unfair. It's privately held companies that are reporting on our lives. Everything about our lives are reporting. We don't have a police on them. So to make it fair, the Fair Credit Reporting Act says that we consumers can dispute anything on our credit report, whether it is true or not, as many times as we want. That is what it says. And the bureaus, the $4 billion companies, have 30 days to open the investigation for whatever we're disputing and answer. But what did I say? How many? 8 out of 10 reports, they're doing a lot of this incorrectly. So we leverage the law. We leverage the law. So paying collections, be very, very clear that paying off a collection could possibly bring down your score depending how old of a collection that is. Okay, number 3, if you handle your finances and pay your bills on time, your credit score will take care of itself. I love this. I'm on Toni's radio show. I love being on the show. I also do some other radio shows, real estate shows. And people will call in and go, well, I know my score's good. I go, how do you know? I think, because I pay all my bills on time. I go, okay. Like you might have money in the bank, millions of dollars in the bank. You might pay cash for everything, but you're not going to have a credit score. Literally not have one because you don't have anything reporting. You know, so like Toni said when she introduced me, to operate in this world now, your credit is the most important thing. 60% of employers, like she said, pull your credit for employment. About 30% of that are pulling your credit for a raise. It's true. Obviously, your credit cards are going to be affected, right? The interest rate on your credit cards, interest rate on buying a home, interest rate on buying a car. Going to rent a car. I had a customer call me the other day. I need your service. My sister got, enrolled in your service, and I need your service. I'm at the Avis Rent-A-Car renting a Toyota for $23 a day, and they're making me put down a $500 deposit because my credit score is below a 600. Cable bill. Had a guy call me the other day. I can't even get cable. I have to put down, to pay cable of $19.95 a month, I have to put down a $500 deposit to get cable. I'm like, that is, understand that corporations take advantage of people's ill fortunes because they can, y'all. They make money doing it. They do. If I have negative items on my credit report and they're accurate, then I have to put my head in the sand and just hope it falls off. That's what I just said to y'all. We have rights, right, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It doesn't matter if it's a foreclosure, tax lien, collection, judgment, repo, whatever it is. You have the right to dispute it. You have the right to dispute it, and they have to answer. All right, number 5, you should close your credit card accounts that you're not using. I just talked to Toni about a client that called me, that enrolled in our service, got great results in this first round. Called very upset to me and said, why did my score go down when all these negative items come off? And I said, such and such. It's not here, is he? No. I said, make sure, did you close any of your credit card accounts like we told you not to? He goes, yeah, I closed 3 of my credit cards because I didn't need them. I go, you just brought down. He brought down his score almost 150 points.
Wow.
Because understand what he had. He had 25, maybe 30 years of positive reporting on credit cards. Positive reporting. So all of that wiped away. Gone. So never close them. Buy a tank of gas. Buy a tank of gas with them. Some people tell me, they go, but there's a charge or there's an interest. I go, I don't know what to tell you. You want good credit? It's going to cost you to have good credit. I mean, it is. It's not free. I mean, it might cost you a little bit, but it's going to save you a lot of it down the road. All right, number 7. You can check your credit score all you want, and it won't hurt your credit score. I know most of the realtors are like, that's, no. I know that. Understand that every time your credit is, we call it a tri-merchant pull, like from a realtor or lender, it obviously is an inquiry on your report. If you have many inquiries on your report, it could be a negative to you. So when you have people, especially if you're looking for a home or you're in your realtor or a lender and people are looking around, you need to communicate that with them. You know what I mean? And you need to find out from them because they can pull. Now, it's not, I understand in the banking transaction, you have to pull it right before the transaction. But for just shopping and talking and trying to find the best possible fit, they can pull by going to annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. You get 1 free credit report a year. So they can do that. Okay, they can do that themselves. Obviously, with their information, they're going to ask them questions. They can do 1 free a year, and it's not going to affect them. Now, let's say they did one. It's still not that expensive. It was like $30, $29.95 if they've already done it. But if you go there, that is directly connected to the bureaus, and they will not be affected negatively because it's not a tri-merchant. It's not a third party. Okay. After filing a bankruptcy or having my home foreclosed on, the credit bureaus automatically remove these items after a certain amount of time. Things don't fall off your credit, people, ever. They don't fall off. I've been out of bankruptcy for 4 years out of a 7. Why is my bankruptcy still on my credit? Because you hired a reputable company or read the 38-page document to do it yourself. Good luck. But you haven't done that. So it's going to stay on. Scott, who works with me, Scott, his nickname, John, who works with me, he actually had that particular situation. Sorry, I just told everybody he had bankruptcy. Anyway, he had that particular situation, and obviously when he enrolled in the service, he got help and we got that off because he'd been discharged out of bankruptcy. So understand that you've got to remove things off your report. They do not fall off. Now, sometimes things fall off from 25 years ago, but sometimes they don't. But just, you need to look at your credit report at least once a year, if not every 6 months. You really need to pay attention to that. Okay, you really, really do. Because what if today, Lord forbid, that something drastically happened, like Toni said, and you need credit. You need to go to the bank, and they're going to pull your credit report, and you have a major catastrophe emergency in your family. And you cannot borrow money because of your credit score. When you could have simply been responsible and done something about it. You know, you gotta get in the right mindset about this. Today your score is like a vital sign. It's being monitored at all times. 25% of the population has below a 599 score. That's 43 million people. That's a lot of people. 43 million. Over the course of your lifetime, less than perfect credit can cost you $200,000 to $1 million. Please raise your hand like you're in first grade if you've ever read the back of your credit card statement. Well, you need to. You need to. You know why? Because it will say, if you pay the minimum payment for the next 30 years, you will pay $300,000 to $1 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, raise your hand if you're going to read it when you leave here. Okay, all those other people don't have credit cards. Okay. Good to know. About 43% of employees use credit score as a factor in determining employment. About 80% of all credit reports have errors. I told you that. About 83 million people don't even know what their credit score is.
And afraid to look at it.
And afraid to look at it. Because they don't understand. It's just the education, y'all. It really, really is. I didn't know. I had no idea until I know now. Our company, our service is called United Credit Education Services. And I talk to consumers every single day, and I love helping them. And the one thing I love about our company, because when y'all think about repairing something or fixing something, it can break, right? Again. But when you think of restoring something, it's something that you're building, you're restoring. It's not going to break. You're making it strong. So our company has a 10-year track record and A rating, served over 150,000 clients, removed over 750,000 derogatories. The reason I know that is, I'll give y'all a website in a minute, and y'all can go to the website, and we have a ticker tape of what we've removed for clients. 75,000 public records. That's like a tax lien and a judgment and a repo and a student loan and a medical bill. Anything that you think there's no way that it's going to come off. And the most important thing is we have a satisfaction money back guarantee. You know, I don't know anything in my life when any company stands by their product, which we do. We're not here to take your money. We're here to help you restore your score and give you the education to keep it there. That's what we do. So this is our website. It's united-credit.org if you want to look it up. It will show, the A rating, all the FAQs. If I do not answer a question for you today, and by the way, when I'm done, I have some people that are with me today that can answer y'all's questions also. But look at those FAQs. Every question, I promise you, will be answered in those FAQs regarding your credit score. Like I said, we have the satisfaction money back guarantee, NASCO compliant, etc. And this is what makes us one of the many things that makes us different in the credit industry. How many people would like to watch their credit score be restored? I mean, I would, right? I would like to watch it. So what our company does is when you enroll as a client, you will be able to watch your score. You will see your score. We do a soft pull on your score and where your score is and how your score is being affected. Because remember, your score is affected. It's a pie, but it's affected by many different things. Like I just told you, 65% was your revolving credit and debt. You're going to see that, and you're also going to see all your negative items that we're disputing for you. And as the process goes on, which a lot of other people in the credit industry don't do, sometimes you might be one of the 80% that get dinged on, I call it erroneously. Well, guess what? We're not charging you for that again. It's included in the restoration. So we're going to take care of your negative items. We're also going to give you a credit coach. And I'd love to tell you it's me. I will give you expert advice. But it actually is many people at our company, United Credit Financial Education Services, like I said, that has 25 years experience. They're going to be able to pull up your particular credit report and give you some advice on how to make it better. I mean, why not? Because there's a lot, it's not just the negative stuff, y'all. There's a lot of positive things that everyone in this room could do right now today, which I'll give you a couple of them, that are going to put positive points on your credit report today. Documentation beats conversation. I love the mowers. You know, 30-year mortgage, they saved it. They were able to basically have their bankruptcy removed, which allowed them to get a 30-year mortgage, and they saved $1,000 a month. I mean, you know, I go over these in the radio shows every single week. And we talk about a score, like with a conventional loan, maybe a 15 or a 30, and somebody having a 680 score, okay? And if they brought it up to a 720, they're going to save, it's $750 per 100,000. So if they have a $400,000 house, about $3,000, our product costs $399 for a year's worth of service. Think about that. I had a short sale removed for my credit report in the first 30 days. Bill shook. I know Bill. She had a tax lien removed. But I love Lenny. 14 derogatory accounts removed from my credit file and 3 repossessions. I actually know Lenny. He still does have the car. He was able to go out and buy a BMW 740i and a home for his family. Now, I'm not telling you to go get 3 repossessions and put them on your credit report and go, you know, we're going to get them off for you, but it is a story. It's an amazing story. So what would it be worth to have excellent credit? I know that y'all have heard many different prices. I think the best one that I've heard in the last 4 years, is $10,000. $10,000. I was like, for what? For what $10,000? You better give me a lot more than a good credit score for $10,000. You know, but $10,000, $5,000, $2,000. Now I told you $399, didn't I? That's right. Because everybody in here today and every one of your clients are going to get it at the Keller rate, the friend and family rate of $399. Okay? That is 1 year's worth of service with a satisfaction money-back guarantee. And we do have a monthly option, $199.39 a month. I personally, probably in 4 years, have only probably sold 3 of these. And let me tell you why. Because it's a restoration. I believe I did it for people that just needed a few points and needed to get in a real estate deal, and their score might have been a 700, and there was some old stuff on the report. So we got it off right away. It was worth it. But I believe in the year's worth of service, because most of y'all in here, hopefully if you have a car, you have car insurance. And hopefully you have medical insurance. But there's a reason we have car insurance. Well, I look at the same thing with this. I'm in credit restoration because if anything happens to my credit, they're going to take, FES, United Credit's going to take care of it. So I have an insurance protecting my credit. So I think the year's worth of service, and I personally would pay $500 a year to protect my credit. I think it means that much. So credit tips. Boost your credit score. 8 tips to improve and protect your credit score. The best way to improve your credit. Follow these simple steps. Here we go. Pay your parking tickets. One of the worst ways to lower your credit. I see some smirking in here. Pay those parking tickets. I mean, I am telling you something. They will send it right to collections. They don't wait. You get that notice, it doubles, and then if you don't pay it, boom, it is on there. So pay attention. That could even mean as much as a 30-day late. 60 points sometimes on your credit. Pay attention to that. Do not pay collections and expect your credit score. I kind of went over that, and I went over this. Remember, I truly believe, in my expert advice I give, if you have a lot of different things on your credit report, or you have a client that does, we're going to put them in the restoration first. We are going to see, we're going to give them the tips to raise their score, but we're going to see if those collections come off anyway. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't pay their debt. I'm not, don't pay your debt, you know, just screw those banks. I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is, there's a first step first. Let's do the first step. Let's see if it comes off. And then on your own, if you want to pay the debt because you feel so important to Bank of America, then you go ahead. But I think we're going to go ahead and dispute them first to see if they come off. Opt out of the credit bureau marketing list. This will add points on your credit in the next 60 days. Go ahead and write this down. What happens is the bureaus feel if you opt out for getting online or in the mail, if you opt out for getting some advertising, then you're being responsible. So you can add anywhere between 5 and 15 points on your credit. And I say 5 to 15 because I've seen it different. It just depends on your scoring model. Depends on how much debt you have in your report. But they actually will give you credit. Because remember, when you were born, the credit bureaus, you had a social security number, they have everything. Date of birth, you know, I mean, I feel like one of these days we're going to walk around and, you know, I'm number 273425 and my credit score is a 750. Okay, come on in. You know what I mean? I mean, it's getting to that point. Optoutprescreen.com. Do not receive. It doesn't mean you can't apply for credit cards. It just means that you're not going to get the online and in the mail, etc. And you are going to be responsible for your debt. And therefore, you're going, you know, to get points for that. 4, get a secured credit card. I'm not going to ask people to raise their hand. But a secured credit card, and I'm going to give you all a website. I actually have a couple that have worked really well for my clients, and we've actually seen results in as little as 60 days, right? And I'm going to give you my website, and you can go on and click on there and read about it. A secured card, what it does, it's not a debit card, right? So you're putting money on the card. Now, a lot of people go, well, but I'm going to pay my bills with cash. I go, you're not going to have a credit score. Please listen to me. If you want to buy a house, you need a credit score unless you have a bunch of cash. So you've got to have a credit score. We've got to build your credit score. And this is one of the fastest, easy ways. So you open a secured card. Let's say $500. And you're going to pay your gas. You're going to pay your groceries. You're going to pay everything. And you're going to pay it down just like it's a credit card to at least 30% of that limit. Now, obviously, this is money you're going to give a bank. It's like a savings account. So you're going to pay out $500 to hold this card. But the ones on my website, I've really done some investigation about, and they do report to the 3 bureaus. They do. I have seen them report to the 3 bureaus, and that's the most important thing. So be very careful when you're looking for a secured card. Make sure it reports. And you don't have to have good credit. You don't. There's ones on my website that obviously are people that have less than perfect credit. Number 5, a short sale is far better than a foreclosure for your credit. What is happening is short sales are being put on the credit report as an 8 or an M8 as a foreclosure when it is not a foreclosure. That is rapidly, have y'all experienced that? Some of the realtors in here experience that, yes? So understand that if you had a short sale, and obviously if it's being reporting that way, it's being reported inaccurately, right? And it really affects you in the worst kind of way. You need to make sure you correct that, and you need to make sure that it says paid, and you need to make sure we get it off. But it says with the short sale, you have control over the end date of the event, right? Foreclosure, no. It just depends on when the bank gets around to it. They could take years to process it. It's crushing your credit score every month along the way. Short sale looks much better on your credit profile. A foreclosure is like giving a lender the bird. You pretty much are saying, it's your house, you deal with it. And a short sale, you're saying, I can't pay it, but I want to help you get as much money back as possible. So that will help you get back in a home more quickly down the road. So just the whole point of this is, I'm not trying to teach real estate here, Tony, but the whole point of this is a lot of short sales are being reported as foreclosures. And you won't know that unless you saw your report, right? And a lot of people, when they get out of that is so stressful and think that they're probably not even looking at their report. But they need to, because they want to get back on track as soon as possible. Never co-sign anything unless you must. This is like, oh my Lord. Whether it be a divorce, I mean, it's every day for me. I go through this. Whether it be a divorce, she was on the credit cards, he was on the credit cards. It was supposed to be included in the bankruptcy. I mean, this is just misreported like crazy, okay? Even though the credit companies are not legally allowed to do it, see, you're legally supposed to sign and put your social security number in there if you're on that card, like, and responsible for it. That's what I mean. You can be a signer on the card, you know, your husband or wife can just call up, but you wouldn't be responsible legally for the money. Well, credit companies don't care. I mean, the credit card companies don't care. They're making you responsible anyway. Because they said you did spend the stuff. Your husband wasn't shopping at Victoria's Secrets every single weekend, was he? So they're making you responsible. They can't legally do it, but they do it. So be very careful when you're co-signing for a mortgage, a car, or anything like that. And because understand, you got to really understand and talk to an attorney or a professional, a broker or a realtor about that. Because the bank will chase you down. And it's hard to get off. You know, it really, really is hard to get off. So really pay attention to that and please give advice about that in the right way. Authorized user accounts, that's what I just talked about. You know, you piggyback on the credit card. This doesn't work really anymore. You know, I know they're out there. I have companies calling me all the time going, do you want to get my program? You can get people's credit up faster and I can give you a credit card with American Express and it's not your client but it's somebody else and you're going to pay this money. It's not legal. Bottom line, it's not legal. You might get in a home, but it might bite you. So just understand it's not legal. It is not legal. And so really pay attention to that. It really, really is. And they're really coming down now. Literally coming down on it where they're reporting to the IRS. The other person that sold it, you know, is getting in trouble for it also. Pay your credit card bills before the statement ending date. Most people think you get your credit card statement, right? And you pay the bill by when it's due. Because that's, why wouldn't we pay it when it's due? It's due on the 22nd, just so it gets there on the 22nd. It should be good. Well, we weren't taught. So let me read it. Most people think the key to building a good credit score is to get a credit card, use it during the month, then pay it off when the bill comes in. They did a good job of brainwashing us. Unfortunately, you're falling into the trap. Okay? By the time you get the bill, the credit card company has already reported it to the credit bureaus. It's already on there, the $5,000 you put on there. They report each month the balances of your account, right? It's already on there. So if you pay the account off each month, your credit score will never know it because the credit company has already reported it. So what you need to look at, all you have to do is pay the balance prior to that statement ending date and you will get the credit you deserve. Now, where is that statement ending date? It's going to be on your statement. So on the statement for, are we almost November? So your statement for October, it's going to be the same ending date every month. It'll have it at the top of the bill. Pay it before that date, not when it's due. Okay, so look, that will absolutely put positive points on your credit. On the statement ending date, rather than the time it's due. Because how do banks make money? Interest, right? Interest. They're just trying to make money. So why I'm here today, obviously to educate y'all, but I also can tell you that a lot of people, I work with a lot of realtors, a lot of loan officers, a lot of brokers in the industry. Anybody that obviously has to qualify their clients, not just to get a loan, y'all, it's to get a loan that's best for them. So I can tell you with over the years working with people, I think Keller, and I've been to many Keller offices. I actually know Gary Keller. I went to school with him at University of Texas in Austin. If y'all haven't read his book, The One, it was an amazing book. I just finished it. But I think Keller, when I read everything about Keller, and if you're a realtor here at Keller and work with Keller, it's all about what's best for your client. and it's all about referrals. And let me tell you, your credit score, whether your client knows it or not, means so much to them, all right? They might not know it does. But when you take 5 to 10 minutes of your time and introduce them to a program that could possibly change their life. Now, guess what? They might not be able to buy that house today from you that's on your caravan, okay? But when they're ready to buy the house and somebody's taken the time to help them, who are they going to come back to? The person that took the time and cared enough to show them the way. It will increase your bottom line, and it will increase your referral base. Because once again, they don't know what they don't know. Everything in their lives will start to open when they have that higher score. Their insurance will come down, everything, everything. So myself, Ray, raise your hand over there. Ray, John, Jeff, we're here to answer any questions y'all have. Obviously, we have a lot of realtors, help their own clients. We can help them too. And if you're interested in hearing anything about that, we can answer your questions. Now, question and answer now. Does anybody have a question for me? Okay.
How do you reach the credit bureaus? Is there a single number, or do you have to call each one individually?
We do not call anyone. We have my company has a proprietary system that when you verify or when you open a trade line, a negative item, what's called My Late with Bank of America.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
You have the straight in, right?
Yeah. So what happens is we have a proprietary system that what is your name?
Lisa.
Lisa. So let's just say that we did a soft pull on your credit. You had a couple things. You look like you don't have a many, but you had a couple of things on there, and we went ahead and we did your dispute packet. Okay. So what happens is we do the dispute packet, and there's only 6 legal verbiage line items that will get the bureaus legally to open that dispute. You can't call them. They're in India.
Yeah, well, that was the problem with the 60 Minutes thing,
Yeah.
was that they said there's no way that you can get a hold of anybody who can actually help you with this.
You can't anymore. I mean, usually a lot of people go, well, I'm just going to fix it myself. I go, I wish you the best of luck, and please keep my number.
That's what I wondered.
Okay, 38-page document to know, because it really is a system. A lot of it is, there's no clerks involved. A lot of it is just paper, and if it's done the correct way, then it'll get through the system. And if it's not, it doesn't.
Very much like a short sale.
There you go. There you go. Any other question for me? So does that mean I did a really good job of telling y'all?
Yeah, I want to, well, first of all, I want to thank you for coming out. I know that, and it was an amazing presentation, and there's so much information. If you guys have questions, first of all, I encourage you, did everybody get their handouts? And we're going to hand around a survey, and I want everyone to please take a moment and complete it for us. It's really, really important as we're doing these educational functions here in the Market Center. So we appreciate that if you could fill it out. But if you guys have questions, if you have any, what I encourage people to do is ask questions while the group is here too, because obviously personal questions you can save for, being in private. But if you have any open questions that you think would benefit the group, please bring them out now.
Well, I don't have a question, but I started working with the company in May, and my credit score was a 509, and I checked it in September, and it was 750.
Wow.
So definitely.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Did you guys hear that? This is a testimony from one of our agents right here in our office. She started in May. Her credit score was a 509. She started working with this company, and she checked it in September, and it's now 715.
So how long after?
Yeah.
Well, that's
About 5 months.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you disputing what was reported wrong, or are you disputing what is really wrong, and you're disputing it to make it right?
Okay. We are disputing everything on your credit report that is negative. It could be erroneous, yes. Could be the wrong name, wrong address, I never had a Dodge truck, right? It was erroneous. We also are disputing anything that's true because we have the right to do so.
Like
See,
foreclosure.
Foreclosure, bankruptcy, tax lien, judgment, medical bills, student loans, anything that's negative on your report, we will dispute and leverage the law.
The burden of proof is on them.
The burden of proof is on them. So you're right, Rose, thank you. The burden of proof is on them. They have got to open each of these line items and investigate them in the appropriate time.
Oh, that's the 30 days that you said?
Yes. And let me give you an example real quick because I'm gonna answer kind of two questions at once. You asked, how long would it take to do a foreclosure or a short sale? How long? Well, first of all, there's a statute on them. A short sale, what is it, 7 or is it 4?
I think it's shorter.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
And then a foreclosure 7. But understand, I don't care what it says. I don't.
Foreclosure
I
came off.
see, okay.
Okay, so success is foreclosure came off. Because remember what I'm saying, it's a year's worth of service. If you have a foreclosure, you have other things. I've never seen a person with a foreclosure just have a foreclosure.
Yeah,
Very
right.
unlikely.
Right.
Okay, there's some other things that happened during that time, unfortunately. So we are going to dispute it and leverage the law, and we're going to keep disputing it for a year. And yes, are we waiting for them to make a mistake? Yeah, we are. And they do it 8 out of 10 times. So when there's 2 questions I'm asked about the credit restoration every single moment of my day. How much does it cost and how long does it take? And I usually say, what is your name again?
Sylvia.
Sylvia, I say, Sylvia, how long is it taking you to get it where it is now? And before you faint and fall on the floor, I say, Sylvia, it's not going to take that long. Okay? I have personally seen in 45 days the most amazing results. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, judgments. Ray Cortina and
I
her
got 22 items off.
22
in 43
items
days.
off, mainly medical bills.
17 of those were brand new medical bills.
Medical
It was
bills.
life-changing.
It was
Well,
like
you should all be signing up today.
Yeah, I know.
They can't put it back on later.
No, you know what? This is not. See, in the industry, we have had unfortunate things happen over the years in the credit industry. And some of those things were brought on by attorneys that would write letters at a certain time. They would take off a foreclosure or a bankruptcy or something that was inhibiting them to get into that home, okay? And then it would come back on. That really, in general speaking, is not happening anymore. And understand, I love when people go, if you're a rapid rescore,
Yes.
rapid rescore is only if it's true. Okay? So if there's something on there that's not true, yeah, you can rescore it rapidly because the bureaus, but what about those things that are true? So we're going to dispute everything that's negative. That's the easiest way. And it could happen in 45 days or it could happen in 3 to 6 months. But what I always tell people, if you don't do anything about your credit today, I will guarantee you this. It will stay the same or get worse. I can guarantee you and look at everyone in the eye and tell you that. It just will. It will. Okay.
Darby, mentioned something about like when you have a short sale and you have a first and second, a purchase second, a lot of times the second doesn't show that it was included in the short sale, which is not right. So that's a big, I think that shows up a lot.
Yeah. And see, understand, we're just going to correct it. We're going to dispute anything that's affecting you negatively. And once again, we're going to give you the positive things that you can do. And right now, if you do not have a credit card and you're using your debit card, I want you to go to darbynokes.com and you can type in where it says secure card at the top. And also, this is all the myths that I spoke to today. You can write that down if you want to see the PowerPoint and the myths. You can write that down and you can go back to that at your leisure. But you can go on, and I did, like I said, I did some investigation on the secured card, and there's some good ones there. Yeah.
Hi, I have a twofold question.
Okay.
I had a house and it foreclosed, and so of course my credit was destroyed. I had a bank and a debit card. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't rent a car. I couldn't do anything. So my sister, I got an authorized user that's in an account from my sister. So I got her credit card, and then her credit went on to my credit. So now, was that illegal?
Yeah, but they do it anyway.
Even if it's a family member?
It's illegal, but they do it anyway. What I'm trying to say to you is they don't care. They're the bank. They don't care. And you can call them up. We're going to dispute that. They can't verify that being the other person. And it can come off. But the point is they do it anyway. They do it illegally all the time.
No, but what I'm saying is that it saved me. It saved me. So can I still do it without that being illegal? So can I keep her card?
As long as you pay it on time.
Yeah, I didn't pay it.
If it's working for you, but I'm talking about the ones that aren't being paid. You know, and the one that didn't get paid, and the other person that was the user, the ex-wife or the ex-husband, and they didn't pay the bill, and you were on the bill.
So as long as you pay it, you're okay.
You do well.
Got it.
Yeah, you're good. It's when it goes negative.
Okay, the second thing,
Yes.
my personal profile on my credit.
Yes.
It has something from Tennessee, New Jersey, whatever, all these utilities, cable.
We're going to correct that.
And they won't correct it.
We will.
Oh, you will?
It's part of the service.
I've never been to these states. I've never,
It's part of the service.
It's part of the service?
Yes.
Oh, great.
We're going to correct everything. It's going to addresses, phone numbers, everything, places of employment, everything that's there is going to be correct. Okay. Anything erroneous is going to come
okay. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Tell us about the bankruptcies and the tax liens, because we were noticing that IRS has been very aggressive, and I had a client, we were almost at docs, and a tax lien showed up, and that just killed us.
It killed the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
How do you get a tax lien that is a legitimate lien removed?
Well, think about it. They have to verify it. I was telling people when the government was shut down, I said, you just better get those things in. But you know, they have to verify the information. Now, our court system here in LA, you know what I mean? I mean, they are cutting back on all of our systems. So, once again, there's no guarantee. But I always say, look, get yourself in the batter box. It costs $399. There's other stuff on there besides a tax lien usually. Get yourself in there. Get it the best it can be. And even if it took 6 months to a year to get off that tax lien, who cares? Because it's going to be better than it is. Now, as far as your real estate transaction, that's squashing your deal, I'm sorry for that. But, you know, that's just bad luck. I mean, unfortunately. I mean, if that person was in the system, you know, we're going to work on it. You know, we're going to leverage the law. But that was just, I'm sorry for that. That's horrible. That's horrible. Go ahead.
I'm curious, I do use my debit card a great deal. I do also use my credit cards. But the debit card is also used as a credit card sometimes.
Yes, it doesn't report.
It doesn't matter.
Because it's only the money you got in your account.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
It's like a savings account.
How they use it. Okay.
No, it's so uneducated. See?
It's very.
Yes.
At the beginning, you talked about credit scores being 35% of the activity, 30% debt to income ratio. What's the last chunk?
Oh, 10% is your any inquiries, you know, that you're doing, and 10% more is opening new credit cards. Don't open new credit cards. If you don't have credit, you need to open. But one of the number one things that could bring down your credit is going to get a retail store card. When you go Christmas shopping this Christmas and they say they're going to give you a 25% discount if you open that card today, don't do it. Don't do it.
You're better off with a secured credit card?
Secured credit card.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't pay cash for the item.
Right.
You can't write it off. So you're saying,
credit card still they report, right?
I'm sorry?
Department store.
Yes. But I'm talking about, we're talking about restoring your credit right now.
Yeah.
So the negative things that will bring your credit score down are opening up new cards. It is negative until you start getting the positive payment. You know what I mean? And paying it, remember, at the statement date rather than when it's due. Where was I? 65,000. 60, 10. I know, I got to go back here. Hold on one second. Hold on. So we got 35% revolving, 30% debt ratio. We've got 10% inquiries, 10% open. What? No, I know. I know it. I'm just looking at my hand. And I have 15% more, right? It's in my brain. 15%. Oh my gosh, take off my arm. We'll come back to it. It'll come in there. It's in there.
Length of credit history.
Length of credit history. Thank you, Uche. See, he learns well. Thank you so much.
So if you went through, let's say a bunch of years ago, you went through bankruptcy, you wiped out all your credit cards, stuff like that, and they won't give you a credit card, and now you're coming to a point where you can start getting a credit card again to rebuild your credit. How many credit cards should you get?
Two.
Max? Or
Two max.
Is there a max?
Two is just, you know, all the education that I've listened to a lot of, I've read a lot, and they said two. Just two. And it doesn't matter about the limit either, because it's the activity. It's the activity.
And also the other question is, would a secured credit card be the way to go for college kids?
Yes.
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 Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Did you guys hear that question?
Yeah.
Secured credit card.
He asked if secured credit cards would be the way to go for college students. And she said, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Not a debit card.
That's great.
Because you're actually going to start building them. Oh, and student loans. I got to tell you all this.
Yeah.
Student loans, being defaulted on your a student loan is like 90 days being late for a mortgage. That's how much it affects you. So really before, what is the word, not deportment, deferment, deferment. Before it goes there, that really affects your report badly. You know, you need to negotiate, you need to pay that. It's gonna bring your score way down, not paying off a student loan or negotiating with them or paying something towards it. Because remember, if we pay something towards a debt, you know, it's something, they can't turn this into collections. Some of them do anyway, but they can't. You pay something towards a debt.
And if you've got a kid like for college, and so you've got, like there's a difference between you first couple of years and then your last year. So the first years you've got some money in the bank and they're giving you student loans if you want them. So the question is, should you go through all your cash and then take the student loans, or take the student loans and still have the cash and have a higher reserve, but still have payments and more cash?
You know what, I always,
I
mean, we're always taught, to the most successful people in the world are always operating on other people's money. But it really kind of depends, especially when you're a college student, you know, how serious you are about college. And I think it just depends on the individual. I'm sorry I can't answer your question, but it really depends on the individual.
Because it's like, you know, sometimes you're going like, well, if I don't use it, I might lose it, kind of thing.
But you know what, I personally have a 17-year-old that's going to go to college, and I wouldn't, I know he doesn't know what he wants to be. If I knew that he wanted to be a doctor and he was going to go to Harvard, and I would say, get the student loan and do what all you do, but you know, Brown or whatever. But no, I mean, I've seen so many people in trouble. Excuse me, sorry. I've seen so many people in trouble with student loans. So many people in trouble. Yeah.
If you currently don't have two secured credit cards,
yes,
is it better to get rid of the two you have and get?
No.
Oh, that's great.
No. Keep everything. What do you got? You have two secured cards?
I don't know if they are. They might not be.
Okay. Well, I mean, if they're a debit card,
no.
Well, then it has to be a secured credit card or a credit card. But the best way is call the number on the back and say, what is this?
What is a secured credit card? I'm sorry.
Secure, it's when you actually go and
like a gift card?
No.
What is a secured?
It's a credit card.
When you put the money.
Does anybody have a secured card in here?
I have a secured card. And what you do is you deposit money into an account, and you can, what happens is that secured card, let's say you put $1,000 in this account. Now I have a card that says I can spend $1,000 a month or whenever, but I have $1,000. It's like a savings. You're just borrowing from yourself.
You give it to the bank?
You do.
Yes.
Oh,
you give it to the bank. It's
$500.
It's putting in the bank, just like a savings account, and then you get a card. It's a credit card, but it's a secured credit card, and it's secured with your own money.
Yes.
So you're not borrowing money from the bank. I'd much rather borrow from myself and build my credit.
See, it's the same as using your debit card, because the idea of the debit card is you're only spending what's in your account.
Right.
All you're doing is you're changing your buying habits to increase your credit score.
Yeah.
So you're just taking the $500 that you were that have an automatic payment for your bills, and you're going to pay it with a secure card now, because it's gonna build your credit. That's all.
So you're not getting a statement or anything like that?
No, you get a statement.
Yeah, you get a statement.
It's a credit card.
Yeah, you get a statement just like a credit card. Like my card,
But they don't charge you interest,
Some of them do, a couple of them on my website do.
even though it's your money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta make money.
It's like a usage, whatever.
It's not very high,
It's
it's
not
a
very
usage fee, it's really not that high.
Yeah.
But the point is that a lot of people can't get credit cards, so
And
Oh,
this
that's
is,
the way to.
that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes after 6 months, they'll actually
Now, I
give you
will-
a card.
I will-
after a year.
I will say
Yeah,
this
yeah,
about,
yeah. Credit
and
union.
Darby, you can answer this question, hopefully. With these secured credit cards, you wanna make sure you're working, hey, I just realized you're I'm seeing all my friends and my clients in this. You wanna make sure you get a secured credit card that turns to a credit card.
Yep.
Because there are companies out there that don't turn to credit eventually and return your money.
Yep.
Right. And I made that mistake of getting with a company who, I've been with them for 2 years,
Right.
building my credit, but if I want my money back, if I want my $1,000 back, they don't, they won't just carry it as a credit card. So that's doing me no good.
And
It's like
there's
they're
two on
running
my
money.
side, one's Capital One.
Yeah.
So when you go to darbynotes.com, secured card, one is Capital One, and it obviously can turn into a credit card. And there's another one, First Capital. So both of those, and there's four. There's two that don't, but it will say on there, will transfer to credit card after a certain amount of time.
Unsecured, yeah.
It's unsecured, yes.
Okay, on that same note, I did have one from Citibank.
Okay.
And I put in 300, which was the minimum.
Yeah.
And about a couple of years later, they sent me a check for $300. That
There you
was
go.
really nice.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
my question is, you mentioned about statement dates.
Yeah.
I do automatic payments on
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
But so I don't know. I
You have
know
to
what
change
it's
your statement
due.
date.
I know what it's due.
You just need to change, you need to go in your automatic payment and change the date. So you need to look at the very top. I wish I did have
Doing the
my bills in
20th.
my purse. I
Gonna
just-
get any bills. Everything is on the internet.
Oh yeah, or look on the internet, but it'll have a statement date. It'll have your
It'll say
statement on the
statement
internet.
date.
And you're gonna look at the statement, not the due date.
Oh,
It's
different.
when your statement closed. So let's say my Bank of America closed, today's the 22nd, 3rd.
23rd.
So say it closed on the 19th. That's when my statement date closed. That's when I'm paying my bill.
Oh.
And
For a
that is
statement
to
they didn't do.
avoid paying interest?
No, what it is to, in the scoring model, the credit card company immediately, when you spend money, puts it on your credit report. Part of your scoring model. So your debt ratio is higher. So if you're ahead of them, putting it on there, because you're paying it, putting it on there, paying it, your score is going to be higher. It's all a scoring model. It's all an algorithm.
But you don't pay interest either, right?
Well, I mean, some credit cards you pay interest, but remember, to have good credit, you might have to pay a little bit. Because otherwise you don't have credit. So I don't even care. Like somebody goes, oh, I have to pay 9% interest. I go, what, on $300?
Yeah.
To have a 700 score? Like I can't even think of those terms.
What if you pay every month all of your
Good.
balance?
But you need to pay them at the statement date. You can do that.
No, my husband pays in that grace period
Yeah,
and our credit score
Right.
is 800.
right, good. Because you have a lot of good credit. Good, you're doing the right thing then. Good for you.
Shauna had a question. She's been very
Patiently
patient.
waiting. Here we go,
Very
you're talking out
patient.
loud. Go ahead, Sean.
She's my title officer here. I gotta take care of her.
All right.
I was wondering, so I knew not to close a credit card. I have the one same credit card, my first one that I opened when I was in college, but I never use it ever. So it just has a zero balance.
Okay, so thank you. Because if you do not have activity on a credit card for 6 months, it will be not reporting anymore.
Oh.
Thank you. So the deal is, don't close them and buy a tank of gas.
Okay.
One.
Just has something on there and
Something.
then pay
It doesn't matter how much, it'd be $20.
it.
But do something because the activity
I'm
falls
not
off.
helping myself.
No,
I'm not.
by not using it.
Okay.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? Be in debt so you have good credit.
We have a room for a couple more questions. We're coming to
Yeah,
the end
regarding
of our
that
class.
same question.
Yeah.
If you don't use over 6 months, automatically they can close the account.
They can, they don't always, but they can close it. They do have rights. Yes.
Actually, I have 3 clients right now that are in that particular situation. They have good credit standing, good accounts, but because they haven't used them, they actually close those accounts.
And they actually made their credit score go
Inactivity.
down.
Yeah, their scores went down 70 points.
It's all about the activity.
Do you know what's the legal if it's not being reported? My car is not being reported on my credit, and I've been paying for 2 years, never been late, and the company is not reporting it.
Okay, in a situation like that, you would send your statement to United Credit, and we would include a letter with all the 3 bureaus regarding that you want this put on your credit. This is a line item that you've been paying for 2 years. There is a letter, and Success will look it up. It is in the United Credit. When you go back to your website and you see your score, there's 4 letters there. There's a validation of debt letter. There's one there in that particular, you'll see it, you'll go, aha, that's it, when they're not reporting something. But it doesn't say that, it says something else. But you want to put it on.
You don't have to pay for it?
No.
You have to pay the credit bureau.
No.
So when you say make the payment before the statement date, are you talking about 100%?
Make the payment on the statement date.
Or the payment amount, doesn't matter?
The amount doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Remember, well, it does matter a little. You want to be 30%. 30% at least if you don't pay it off. If you pay it off, fine.
Keep your balance.
Keep your balance at least 30% of the limit. But what matters is that statement date. So if it said the 20th, you want to make sure you do an automatic payment for that credit card bill on the 20th, at least down to 30% of that credit card. And it will raise your score. It will. Definitely will. Okay.
I want to give you guys, we don't have any room for any more questions, but
if you have questions, come on.
If you guys are interested in us bringing this back like once a quarter, every other quarter, let me know, because I think
got a lot of
these are very
stuff to teach.
We have a lot of things. Did you guys enjoy this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you.